up the Human Resource and Public PR Committee meeting. Roll call.
Alderman Fisher.
Present.
Alderman Mayfield.
Present.
Alderman Evans.
Here.
Alderman Allen.
Here.
Alderman Markham. Alderman Reynolds.
Here.
Alderman January.
Okay, we have one item. It's executive session 5 ILCS 122C2, collective bargaining. Like to entertain a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
A moved and second. Roll call.
Alderman Fisher.
Aye.
Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Okay. We'll convene into executive session. I'd like to open up Human Resource and Committee meeting. Roll call.
Alderman Fisher.
Aye.
Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Alderman January.
We'll borrow your sheet for 1 second, 'cause I ain't got.
Now I'd like to entertain a motion to close the Human Resources PR Committee meeting.
So move.
Second.
Moved in second. Roll call.
Alderman Fisher.
Aye.
Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Okay, Lord. I would like to open up the Economic Development Plan and Zoning Committee meeting. Roll call.
Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
Present.
Alderman Evans.
Here.
Alderman Allen.
Here.
Present.
Alderman Markham.
Present.
Alderman Reynolds.
Here.
Alderman January.
I have 6 items on the agenda. Illinois Housing Department Authority grant, Skokie TIF resolution, Sheridan Crossing Master Tax Abatement Agreement, Grant Place at Murray's Cafe, executive session, 5 ILCS 122C5, purchasing of land or real estate and pending matters. Victor, we want to start with Illinois Housing Department.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
can we move,
You want to go down and get through that executive?
yes, can we move that number 5 up to number 1?
Yes, we can. We want to go into, can I get a motion to go into executive session, 5 ILCS 122C5, purchase of leasing of real estate,
Second.
Make a motion.
So moved.
and it's by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Mayfield. Can I get a roll call?
Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye,
Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Alderman January.
thank you. We're going back in executive session again for 15 minutes. We'll be back. Be patient with us.
15 minutes.
All right, Alderman.
It ain't 15 minutes,
They're gonna get you.
Ain't gonna get me. I would like to reconvene and open back up the Economic Development Plan and Zoning Committee meeting. Could I get a
Roll call.
roll call on that?
Alderman Fisher.
Aye.
Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye,
Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Alderman January.
okay. We'll go to number 2 now, Illinois Housing.
Good evening.
All right.
So we had intended for Andrew Field of the Illinois Housing Department Authority to come out and talk to and present to the committee some grants that are available to the city and to our North Chicago residents. Unfortunately, Mr. Field wasn't able to come out to this evening. Wasn't able to come out this evening. His wife is ill and, again, had requested that this presentation get removed from the agenda and put on the next committee agenda.
Okay, 2 weeks, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Go to item Skokie.
Skokie Highway, and so what we have before you is a resolution. This is one of many documents that we will be bringing before the committee but leading up to the approval of the Skokie Highway boundary expansion. This evening, we invited Phil McKenna of Kane McKenna and Associates to come out to the meeting, to be here to answer any questions that the committee may have regarding the expansion of the Skokie Highway TIF.
Do we have any questions to Ken? I don't think, nobody got it. Nope, no one have it.
Thank you. Sheridan Crossing. So we wanted.
Victor, I'm sorry.
I'm so
The
sorry.
resolution's on the regular agenda for approval tonight, though, right?
The resolution is not on the agenda.
Oh, it's
This is a
not?
presentation of the resolution. The resolution will be on in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that.
Thank you. The next item, Sheridan Crossing. We wanted to take this opportunity to provide the committee an update on our progress and our development with the master tax abatement agreements.
Okay.
We have had several meetings. We have sent letters out to the taxing bodies. We have met with a number of taxing bodies about this tax abatement agreement. We've been able to answer and address some of their questions, some of their concerns. We have a number of meetings scheduled with other taxing bodies to present this agreement. And we hope to have this agreement approved by all the taxing bodies within the next 30 to 60 days. We have Ide Kashima and we have Ken Tucker from Structured Development here to answer any questions that the committee may have. And we also have David Silverman that can answer any questions that the committee may have regarding the agreement.
Okay, keep moving.
Keep moving? Okay, thank you. The next one, this is a new business this is a business that has expressed an interest in the rotunda space. It's the N unit at Grand Place. This space has been vacant since the shopping center was built. This business is Maury's Famous Cafe. They have Maury's Famous Cafe has two existing locations. They're in expansion mode, and they're looking to open up a third facility. And then they have identified the city of North Chicago as the home for their third restaurants. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been working with Mr. Perez on the build-out plans, on lease terms. He has selected a contractor. Mr. Perez and his contractor are ready to go. The build-out is expected to take about 2 months, and at the next meeting, we'd like to bring the lease and the redevelopment agreement for your formal review and consideration. This evening, we have Mr. Perez out here, if the committee has any questions for him.
Mr. Wanna come?
Good evening, everybody.
Just want you to introduce yourself to us and just,
Well, my name is Homer Perez. I got two restaurants, breakfast and lunch. I have one location in Mandaline, another one in Antioch. I'm looking forward to open one here, if you guys let me.
oh, yeah, we'll let you.
I'm willing to give breakfast to everyone. Right? So, I want to see you guys,
Well, on behalf
be here.
of Alderman Allen, I just want to welcome you into the city of North Chicago with bringing a restaurant, and if anything we can do to make it move. So we hope to be open by March the 31st, March 30th?
Right?
Well, I just thought I'd throw that in on you.
A lot of things to do.
Okay,
but I
no.
hope it can be, but no, I don't think so.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
most of everything, so just welcome you in. I just want to say thank you for bringing your business to the city of North Chicago.
Thank you.
Anybody else have no question with Alderman Mayfield? That's your,
I am so excited about you coming to North Chicago and the space that you're occupying, which is a, fantastic space. That space has been vacant for how long, Mayor? 10, 15, 20?
12, 15, 12.
About 10 years. About 10 years, yeah.
9 or 10 years.
Okay, it's been vacant. No one has ever used that space, and as you know, it's such, an awesome space. So I'm very excited for you to come to North Chicago. If you don't mind, would you tell everyone the type of restaurant you have and what you'll be serving?
Okay, the type of restaurant is just breakfast and lunch, but it can be probably some dinner. We serve like take an eggs, pancakes, French toast, a little Mexican breakfast, sandwiches, salads, fruits, soups. So, and we also do catering.
Okay.
So my goal to do in this location, if I can do it, is to offer a lot of people I know, like catering for parties on the weekends, you know. and-
We don't party here.
Oh, you don't party?
That's great.
So, these few of the things we do.
Thank you.
Well, thank
Any
you.
more question with Mr. Perez there? All righty. Mayor got one.
Well, not a question, but I mean,
Statement.
yes, I had an opportunity. I know this is a project that Mr. Perez has been working on here in the city of North Chicago for quite some months now. And, you know, he has been always very positive in regards to it. He knows that and feels that he can come here and actually, you know, thrive and, you know, be able to make a business here, and I appreciate that. I also had an opportunity to dine at his restaurant in Mundelein, and the food is excellent, so, and large portions of it, so, you know, just looking forward to seeing you continue to move forward in this event, and, yeah, I think once that space is occupied at Grand Place, it would be pretty much fully occupied at that point, so I think only maybe one other place, so, excellent.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
to
Mr.
answer-
Perez. Go ahead, yes, I'm.
To answer your question right now, the shopping center is 33% vacant. With Mr. Perez taking up that end unit of the rotunda space, that vacancy rate would decrease to 15%. And we have another party that's interested in the remaining 15% that we hope to bring here to the committee within the next 30 to 45 days, if not sooner.
That's great.
All right. Thank you,
Good
Mr.
job.
Perez.
Thank you.
God bless.
I got a question
Hey,
to go back to.
you got one?
Not for him.
Okay. Okay, one question, we'll go back to. Oh, just 1 minute. One question.
It's regarding the
Abatement.
abatement.
Back to Sheridan Crossing there for a minute. Alderman Evans got a question for you on the abatement,
Right,
master tax abatement agreement.
because this is part of Sheridan Crossing. Do you have everybody signed on board yet for the abatement for the tax?
We don't have anyone's formal approval just yet. We are working on that.
So you're still working on all these?
All these
that's on-
taxing bodies, yes.
Oh, okay. So, how long have you been working on this? As far as the taxing bodies?
On the taxing bodies, we've worked some more than others, but we've you
How many
want
do
months
Do you have half of these people or?
that we've reached out to already?
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The majority of them has already said that they're in agreement of it. I say
Right.
over the majority of them. There's only a few that we have, we want to say maybe a concern with.
But is there any taxing body that we really need to address that needs to sign this?
Yeah.
I think they're all important. They're all important. I wouldn't say that you need one more than the other. They're equally as important to make this project a go. We've spent a lot of time on this. We've spent, we've spent many hours making revisions to the agreement. We've been working with our consultants to assist us with the revenue projections, and we've spent countless hours meeting with several taxing bodies going over the logistics of the agreement.
And any concerns that may be out there, we'll get back to council and
What,
inform you
just tell him which one you,
of any issues that may start to arise.
Thank you.
but, well, I know that the biggest one, I know the school, just make it plain. The school hadn't agreed to us, right?
No,
That's the biggest taxing body we got.
We've
bottom
spent
line.
we've spent a lot of time with the school
Right.
district.
So that's what he's trying to, that's what he's asking you, is to just make it, keep it real.
That's what I was asking.
That's what the question he was gonna ask.
we're
is-
quite certain that they will support the project. They will be voting on this issue March 1st.
Okay, see, that's what
Those
you
that
wanted.
may wish to come out to the board in support of the project, you're always welcome to attend any open meeting, for any elected entity.
wanna ask
But,
Ken a
but
question.
March 1st will be the time that they will be coming to vote on this issue.
Mr. Tucker, Alderman
No,
Evans wanted
because-
to ask you a question.
Right, we just want to make sure with
Ken
this
Tucker,
tax,
you wanna
with
talk.
this tax abatement agreement, is this holding up, how do Ken Tucker and his firm feel about this tax abatement agreement? I mean, how is it affecting our city as far as
Holding
their
up the
production?
progress.
Right.
That's what you, that's what you want to know.
Okay, I got it together, I think. Yes, sir.
How does this hold our progress up by not having everything signed here?
We have spent about 8 or 9 months on this program,
Right.
and we now see the light at the end of the tunnel. I have attended many of the meetings, primarily with the school board, and I believe at the last meeting that I attended, which was few weeks ago, there was concurrence on the program. They still had a half a dozen or so questions, none of which were any that would delay the program, and I think it's critical as hell to get this thing done and over with so that we can meet with our lead tenants and tell them what they got. And we stay in touch with them, but we do not say it's done, because it's not.
Right.
But good chances are, based on the last meeting I attended, and I try to attend all of them, and that we have another one, I think the 27th of February, which I will be at as well, along with structures. But it's been a dog. I mean, it's been real tough sledding, because it's a hybrid of what we were trying to do, and thank God it works.
Right.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, because, the reason I'm asking questions, because it's been a long time for the Sheridan Crossing. And now we're at a point where I think is really needed so that we can get all this signed. And I don't know the following steps after that, but just getting to this point matters. So that's why, yes. And I just wanted to know how important it is to the citizens of North Chicago that this gets done instead of being stalled by others.
There was, that's an interesting question you asked. Over a year ago, the city appointed the Lake County Partners to do an economic impact study on not only the museum, but also on the shopping center. And that report, which I know you all have copies of, tells you how critical this development is to the community. And it's in terms of keeping dollars that are escaping the town today, and the job creations. Over 500 jobs on and off the property are anticipated for the commercial, over 100 jobs for the museum. Not all in the museum, but it's jobs created in the community that stay in the community. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about.
Exactly.
And I think it's critical as hell that we get this thing finished. I cannot, and Heidi cannot, structures, we cannot go any further until this is done.
Till this
What we
is
have
done.
done, what we have started about, I'm going to guess about a month ago, we have restarted our marketing program, and we have restarted our leasing program. And I personally am involved in addition to the two that you're familiar with, I'm involved in negotiating on 5 different leases that hopefully some will come to fruition. So we're back to work because we believe we understand the numbers and the impact to the tenants.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you for the question.
All right, Alderman Markham.
The report you spoke of, were we given that?
Pretty sure, yes. What, council was given
Were
the
given
report.
that?
Wasn't,
You're going to
Chief-
teach us to get them to you.
I would like to get a copy of that.
Yes, of course.
All right.
You have copies. If not, quite frankly, I carry a set with me all the time as I'm
Yes,
meeting
sir.
with donors. If Victor doesn't have it, we'll get it to Victor, and I'm sure he hasn't. And make sure that you all get copies. It's very enlightening report. I use it every time I talk to a tenant. I use it every time I talk to a donor. Depends what hat I'm wearing at the moment. I like to wear your hat. And Bob is, Alderman Rowell is familiar with what I'm talking about. Any other questions I can answer for you?
Okay, thank you,
Thank you very
Ken.
much.
Thanks, Ken. I don't have anything on opinion matters, so any more questions? Anybody got any question with Victor? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion that we adjourn the Economic Development Planning Zoning Committee meeting.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Alderman Reynolds, second by Alderman Evans. All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
I'd like to open up the Public Safety Committee meeting. Roll call.
Alderman Fisher.
Present.
Alderman Mayfield.
Present.
Alderman Evans.
Here.
Alderman Allen.
Here.
Alderman Markham.
Present.
Alderman Runnels.
Here.
Alderman January.
Okay, we have one item, resolution authorizing approval of independent contractor agreement with Full Circle K-9 Solution, Inc.
Good evening, Council. In front of your consideration tonight, you should have a packet with a resolution along with the contract. And basically, what's going on with our K-9 program right now is we have a trainer who's a police officer out in the city of Joliet. Our K-9s have been going down to Joliet on a biweekly or twice a month basis, so bi-monthly basis, to train. The officer who heads the program is retiring. He's starting his own dog training company. So we'd like to stay with somebody that we're familiar with, somebody who's trained our canines for the last couple of years, who has done a fairly good job at it. And he's also looking at actually moving the company here up north. So there'll be trainings for the groups down south as well as for the groups up north. So our folks will not have to travel down to Joliet twice a month for training anymore. With that, I entertain any questions you may have.
Questions? Okay, no questions. Okay. Thank you, Chief. Oh, did you have a question?
Yes. What'd you say the officer's name was, the one?
His name is it's Bert
He's an officer?
Erlander. I'm sorry.
He works for the city now?
He works for the city of Joliet.
Okay.
That's
he
where we
just-
go to train.
Okay,
He is retiring from the city of Joliet
okay,
and opening up his own company.
okay, you gonna start his own bit, okay. Okay, that's all.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
consideration.
All right. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the Public Safety Committee meeting.
So move.
Second.
Moved in second. Roll call.
Alderman Fisher.
Aye.
Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Runnels.
Aye.
Alderman January.
I would like to open up the Public Works Committee meeting. Roll call.
Alderman Fisher.
Present.
Alderman Mayfield.
Present.
Alderman Evans.
Here.
Alderman Allen.
Here.
Alderman Markham.
Present.
Alderman Runnels.
Here.
Alderman January.
All right, we have 3 items on the agenda. The first one is the request to advertise solicit bids for 2 projects. The lining of sanitary sewers on Victory Avenue, Glen Drive, and Greenfield Avenue. And the construction of new irrigation water lines supplying water to the U.S. Navy's Willow Glen Golf Course. The second item is the request to purchase spare electrical switch gear components from Eaton Corporation for use at the water treatment plant in an amount of $15,230. The third item is the request to increase the upper limit of compensation for a contract awarded to Schroeder and Schroeder for the 2017 CDBG funded sidewalk replacement contract from an amount not to exceed $80,000 to an amount not to exceed $89,998. And we have Ed Williams, the Director of Public Works.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, or good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the council and the Public Works Committee. There are, as Alderman Evans said, 4 items before you this evening, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have on any of them. The first 2 items are a request to advertise and solicit bids for 2 projects that we hope to award this spring. The second is a request to purchase spare electrical gear equipment for the water treatment plant. That is a result of the past month's worth of work that we had undertaken with the Eaton Corporation as they went in to investigate and provide some protective or some preventive maintenance to our electronic switchgear at the water plant. Much of that switchgear had been installed in the 70s and 80s and had little to no maintenance performed on it. So that exercise was an effort that was coordinated actually through an individual at Abbott Labs, Gus Vlahos. He's an electrical engineer, very knowledgeable, designed some switchgear for the water plant. And it was at his recommendation that we bring in a manufacturer's rep for that work.
The first item that you were speaking about, the lining
Yes,
of sanitary, does anybody have any questions regarding that? What street is that? I mean, I see the streets, but
So there-
what blocks?
that 1700?
Okay.
No, I'm going on second question. I see you got 15,000, you said, Eaton Corporation. Did we go out and get some bids? He said they recommend that, but should we all?
So Alderman, this is proprietary electrical system. It's stuff it's equipment that is made by the manufacturer for their electrical switch gear. It's not like getting a Volkswagen part for Mercedes. You have to get the Mercedes part for the Mercedes. This is equipment and components that are specifically made for the panels that are custom designed and installed at the water treatment plant.
I understand what you're saying. Ed, I just feel like it don't hurt to just get prices, just to see what if you're an electrician and you you got a company, I know that different electricians can do certain jobs, different companies. If that company go out of business, you're just gonna just say, well, we can't do it because we don't have nobody to do it?
So Eaton Corporation is the manufacturer
I
of the
understand that.
switchgear.
Yes, right. But
It's proprietary.
you saying
They own
that,
it, they support it.
I understand that. I got a craft lawnmower. I can take it in a lawnmower place shop and get, I'm just saying, I don't go back to crafting. I'm just asking you a question. When we're spending money, we still got to focus on, just because that company is the one that make it, we still got to focus on what's best for the city. It's not, if you want to spend your money and not check nowhere and go back to the, that's fine.
So sometimes we have that opportunity, other times we don't. We, many years ago, made the decision to go with this brand of equipment. We're committed to this brand of equipment. It's the manufacturer, and we're somewhat at their mercy, but I got to tell you, with Mr. Vlahos's influence from AbbVie and Abbott, we're getting really good pricing on this equipment.
And how do you know? You know what I'm saying? You have nothing, you have no data to show me that you're saying a good price. What's a good price? What's a bad price?
So
I'm just asking you a question.
Right.
Tell me, you said it's a good price. How do I know it's a good price? See what I'm saying?
I'll get that information for you.
I'm just asking a simple question.
I'll get it for you.
You told me
want
it's a
it?
good price.
You want it, Alderman, I'll get it for you.
You know what I'm saying? You tell me it's a good price, but I don't know because you don't have nothing to compare it with.
We unfortunately not unfortunately, we fortunately have very good, high-quality equipment at the water
I
plant.
understand.
And it's our best interest
I
to
understand.
properly maintain that. And maintain it with the right material, the right equipment, the right components to ensure years of continued operation.
I'm just saying. You can have a Mercedes. I can go buy any part I want from Mercedes. They don't have to go right. I can buy it from and fix it. I'm just saying. I'm just asking you a question. When people tell me that it's a good deal, What are you comparing it with?
I didn't say it was a good deal. I said it was the right equipment for what's needed at the plant to, when a part goes bad, to have a part sitting on the shelf so we can open the door, put a new piece in, and get back to making water. I never said it was a good deal or a bad deal. I
You-
said it's the right equipment for the gear that we have.
You just said a while ago it was a good price. That's what you said.
It-
That's what you said, it's a good price.
It is a fair price that I know that Mr. Vlahos, during our conversations, he's continually asking Eaton to sharpen their pencil.
Okay.
I have a question. Alderman Mayfield.
Oh, Ed, I'm going back to the lining of the sanitary sewers. What happened with, I guess, the original lining? Did it wear out, or?
So, Alderman, lining of sewer and water mains is a relatively new process. When I say relatively new, over the last 20 years. There's a lining that's actually inserted in the existing pipe that's underground, and it's pulled through, pushed through, flown through the sewer pipes. Various linings have various types of application, and it actually blows up and it becomes the pipe.
Oh.
So you use this as a less invasive process to rehabilitate and improve the quality of your infrastructure. So it becomes a load-bearing component equally as strong or superior to the existing sewer pipe that's in the ground. Much of our sewer pipe is clay pipe, which is prone to leakage and prone to collapsing and prone to degradation over time. And this is a composite material that's put in there that's just like a PVC pipe, if you will. It goes in and it's flat. They add hot water inside the pipe. It expands like a balloon, and then it hardens and cures and becomes the pipe. They cut new service drops, service laterals, and openings into the liner so that it functions just the same as a sewer pipe, but without all the excavation. It's actually inserted into the pipe through the sanitary manholes in the roadways.
Okay.
It's a pretty amazing process.
So in the community at large, are there, do we have this lining all over, or
Have-
there's just some areas that didn't get it, or?
So prior to my arrival, my predecessor used to hire RJN Engineering, and RJN would do what's called a smoke investigation, or a smoke study.
Ah, okay.
And they would pump smoke into the storm drains, and then they would look or pump it into the sanitary sewers, and then look at the roof vents and the roof drains and the storm inlets and see where there may be cross connections or breaks in a sanitary sewer. Then they would recommend those sections of sanitary sewer be lined to prevent what's called infiltration into the sanitary sewer. So, as you know, the older areas of the town have repeated instances of sanitary sewer surcharge
Right.
caused in part by rainwater entering the sanitary sewers. This lining process seals those sewers and prevents the rainwater from getting into them.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Alderman January.
Thank you, Chairman. We're gonna go back to the water plant. You know, it's my favorite topic. The part that you're looking to purchase, is that, now I heard you say that you wanna put it on the shelf
Yes.
as a spare to have if we need it down the road. So you're not looking to replace that part right now?
Correct. The lead time on these parts can be 3 to 6 months because they are all custom products or custom pieces that are made, one-offs for the assembly. So, and it's a critical part. We have had spare parts down there that we have over time cannibalized parts of it to replace parts. So this is a full new assembly that when one goes bad, we take the one out of the cabinet, we put this one in, flip the switch, and we're back in operation.
So
So-
how is this particular piece looking today? Are you anticipating
They're all looking
problems
okay. They're all looking
in the near
okay.
future?
So we have gone through and there's several sets of gear down there from the high voltage to the low voltage. medium voltage. And so throughout the past few months, we've gone methodically from the transformers all the way through the plant down to each individual motor and tracked the electrical circuits from all the way through the plant. And then for the switchgear, we've actually taken it offline, opened the doors of the cabinets, inspected the switchgear, do what's called an arc flash analysis, and then other things that the electricians, these high voltage electricians do to ensure the integrity of the breakers. In other words, how much load will it take before it actually faults? And so they've gone through and certified and tested all these, and they found a couple pieces that needed some work, and so they've improved what they could with what they had. And now this is a complete assembly that will be sitting on a shelf for one of these when one of these things go bad.
And so, to sit on the shelf, it's gonna be okay, because I know like some parts you can't let sit for years, or
So-
a year,
Right.
before it goes bad by itself without
So
using
these
it.
are stable pieces, and they're sitting in a controlled environment on a shelf in the electrical switchgear room, which is a controlled environment as far as the moisture and the air and all that heat. So it's in a good environment. It'll be fine.
Okay. And then you spoke to, just briefly, about the quality of our water. I know with Mr. Soto, our original foreman has retired and has moved on. What are we doing to replace his position, and have we replaced it?
So we've not named a new replacement for Mr. Soto. We've named one of the individuals at the water plant, a gentleman by the name of Dwayne Roberson, as the interim foreman. Dwayne has been officially named as a responsible operator in charge of the water plant. In other words, he's the signatory person holding the proper license in the eyes of the EPA to sign all the documents and the reports that are submitted to the EPA as far as water quality and the operational status of the plant. We continue our search nationwide, as a matter of fact. Liz has for a water foreman. Perhaps we want to try to elevate that position a little bit in the future. So our search, we rewrote and went through the whole job description for all the job descriptions at the plant. And so we're trying to enhance we're trying to get the right people to move that plant forward to where it needs to be on board. So it's a lengthy process because, as has been said before, there aren't many water operators in the world that have a lake water license, Class A license. There's a lot of water plant operators that treat inland water, but very few that treat lake water, and it's kind of a unique breed.
As far as, now we're down to one person,
We have 6.
there are 6. Okay.
6
So that's
water operators, 5 with licenses.
5 with license. And how often is our water being tested again?
Oh, it's tested every day.
Daily? And those reports are submitted every day to?
So the formal reporting is periodically during the month. There's various places throughout the city that the water plant or the water sampler individual, that Jerry Gray, takes water samples. He's on a rotation, some of which he gets to choose, other of which he's directed where to take a sample. And they test for a variety of things at various locations throughout the city on a regular basis. In fact, we just established a calendar on Outlook that has all of the sampling dates on it. And if we bring that up, and I'm welcome to share it, you're more than happy to look at that, to see how many samples we actually take during a month's time. And it's pretty impressive.
But we do take every day, once a day a sample?
So at the water plant, there's a difference. We have internal samples and external samples. External samples are what Mr. Gray handles. The internal samples, the water operators take daily and multiple times during the day. And they record those samples in a log inside the plant. And that's part of the reporting that goes to the EPA on a monthly basis.
Oh, the reporting is monthly. Okay. I have received complaints from residents regarding that they're not receiving the water report like they used to. I don't know if it was coming out quarterly or yearly. There was a report that they were receiving that showed the quality of the water, and they're not receiving that. Do you know when our last one was?
So that's an annual water quality report. It's produced once a year, and it's produced every year once a year.
Once a year.
And it's on a direct mail piece that we don't even touch. We produce it, edit it, and then submit to the publishing house the list of addresses, and they drop ship it right directly to the homes.
Okay. Well, these are residents that have been here a long term, not changed their address, nothing's changed, and they're not getting it.
So we did change mail houses 2 years ago, and it is conceivable that their address may not be in that new mail house's list. So if I could have that, the addresses, I
Let
could
them know to
actually
touch
find out,
base here at the City Hall.
look back and see, make sure they're on that list.
All right, I'll have them touch base back here at the City Hall then. Thank you.
And we have plenty of extra copies if they want them. They're in City Hall, they're readily available throughout City Hall.
These are outside and you can pick one up, but these are dropped in every single mailbox in North Chicago.
Okay. What is it?
This is the water quality report.
Oh, the report?
And
Okay.
and it's right out there if you want to get a copy of it, but when I look at how the mail house has done the postage on it and what it says, it's dropped in every mailbox.
Every member.
And I'm especially fond of the cover photo.
Thank you.
Alderman Markham.
Thank you. Now, a while back, there was a situation that happened where chemicals got out there. Are they still testing about that?
So the chemical release was within AbbVie, and AbbVie has been doing a very robust and rigorous test. The chemical that went into the water tended to be heavier than water. Its specific gravity was heavier than water. And so we had done some samples and we had done some testing, and they came back negative, so that's a very costly process. So we chose to let the AbbVie samples take the place moving forward after we were assured of our own sampling.
But now, it got as far as up near Milwaukee, didn't it?
No. No, because the
didn't?
predominant lake movement is north to south.
Okay, but they've been testing all along the shoreline from down near Evanston up here. Is that correct?
Every municipality did or did not undertake their own battery of tests. Some cities inquired about it. The southern communities asked about it.
Right.
And so not all of those that asked actually did testing because it's literally a drop in a bucket.
Okay. Thank you.
Oftentimes, the solution to pollution is dilution. So it was a very small amount, a very, very big lake.
Okay.
Any other questions? Ed, I know you did indicate that, who took David Soto, who's doing the interim?
Dwayne Roberson.
Dwayne Robertson. Okay, and that the city is doing a search right now for a nationwide search. Okay. Now, do we believe, I mean, I don't know who Dwayne Robertson is, but what I'm trying to find out is that we have employees and we're trying to do it. Every time we do a search like that, it falls back to somebody that's locally here. So what I'm trying to find out is these guys not qualified to be promoted? That's my question.
So I think Deb probably put it best when we talked about it. Everybody brings qualities to the table and brings experience and education to the table. And Dwayne has some really, really, really good qualities, but there's best practices in the industry that oftentimes you are aware of, either through your professional training and education or having experienced the same occupation in many different entities. So Dwayne is eminently qualified as a water operator. the best practices that we put into the job description, certain things that I was looking for a water plant superintendent or assistant director of public works, are maybe beyond Dwayne's current exposure. Could he grow into those? Yes, he could.
So you changed what you did, you changed the,
So all the
Qualification.
job descriptions,
Yeah, you changed the
all
job
the job
description.
descriptions at the water plant are or were outdated. They have all been refreshed, and they're going through them and updating them all.
okay. All right, easy
You-
enough.
The question is, have you been considered getting some schooling? Do you want to go to schooling and go further with that? Have we checked with him and stay in-house? I'm just asking you a question.
Yes. Yes,
And
we
what did
have.
he say?
And I asked him some very, some frank questions, and the answers didn't really surprise me. We asked during the interview very, very targeted questions.
Yeah.
And Dwayne admitted that there's a lot to that job that he didn't know was involved in that job.
And we understand that, but is he able, do you feel that he can go back to school, or you can send him to school and get some more training, and we have a more valuable customer? He's been working in this city already. Can we focus on that? I'm just asking some questions.
So I don't really like to discuss personnel matters at the public dais. I'll be happy to talk with you one-on-one, and I don't think this is the proper
Well,
forum.
Okay.
it's
He
not,
just brought up
yeah,
that.
it wasn't that we were talking about personnel. I understand we're talking about personnel matters now, but you opened it up when you said his name. You see, so it wasn't brought from us, it was brought from you to
The
us.
question was, who's taken Mr. Soto's
Yeah,
place?
Exactly.
And
So,
that's how we got into it.
exactly.
Okay.
So therefore, that's why the question was asked about this guy, because I didn't know whether somebody else was qualified, or is it just the city policy, just search, we go out here and search, and when we go out there and search, we spending money on a search, not just your department, I'll just say all the departments. And then at the same time, we still falling in the same place. So I'm saying, if any candidate is qualified here, why not
So
here?
Liz opened it up to everybody at the water plant as far as a replacement, and one individual from the plant came forward. We interviewed that individual along with several other individuals, and we're still advertising.
Okay.
Question.
Alderman
The job description that you amended, was that a part of the changes that were being done back when Mr.,
Soto?
no, oh, he passed away. When you all were
Brown.
going through,
Bill Brown?
yeah, when they were going through that, was that a part of that?
So as a matter of course, my preference is to go through every job description for every position when one becomes available, to make sure that we have in there what we truly are asking the individuals to do. So that the job description matches the roles and the functions and the responsibilities that we're asking folks to do for the city, try to align it better. And so that was just part of that process.
But that was outside of, that was not connected with, when they were going through making various changes?
No.
Okay. Can we get a copy of what you put together?
Liz can,
Oh,
Liz can,
yeah, she didn't get it.
Liz can give you whatever.
Okay.
I mean, it's certainly public record.
Thank
She
you.
uses it, distributes it.
No, I know it's public record, but I didn't know you had changed anything.
Any other questions?
go to the next.
Okay, go to the next one.
Got where we're at.
Number 3. What you said?
Now we're at number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4 is a simple request to increase the upper limit of compensation for Schroeder and Schroeder. When we went through and calculated quantities, they gave us some very good pricing, because remember, they were the low bid of many bidders on this project. And so their unit pricing was very favorable, and we found additional trip hazards and added to their project. And now it's time to pay the bill, and we just need to get the bill paid.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ed.
May I just-
Oh,
And
sorry.
these are budgeted
Alderman
funds.
Markham.
Correct.
Actually, 100% of the money for this
It's
is from
CDBG.
CDBG
Perfect.
funds.
Yes.
So we moved money around within CDBG to make use of it. We had funds in CDBG going back to 2013, 2012 that had not been spent. So as a result of that, when this last round of CDBG grants came up, we did not even submit because we knew that we wouldn't score well because we hadn't spent down what we got.
Okay.
We now have all our funding spent down the way it should be.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Okay, at this time, I would like to close the Public Works Committee meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Alderman Allen, second by Alderman Mayfield. Roll call?
Alderman Fisher.
Aye.
Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Runnels.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Meeting adjourned.
I'd like to open up the Committee of the Whole. Could I have a roll call?
Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
Present.
Alderman Evans.
Here.
Alderman Allen.
Here.
Alderman Markham.
Present.
Alderman Runnels.
Here.
Alderman January.
I have a one-item agenda, and that's just replacing Richard Wilson with Lazaro Perez onto the E911 board. They always have the chief of police as one of the person that's on that board, and when Chief Wilson retired and Chief Perez came on board, they're looking to get that person back on that position. So if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to. Being none, I'd like to just go ahead and appoint him. It's on the agenda tonight. No other questions? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Been moved by Alderman Allen, second by Alderman Reynolds, that the Committee of the Whole stand adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right.